There was something cool about being a kid in the 80s and 90s, and you had that cool teacher, and you know that they know the tournament's going, and then you see them wheeling the television, and you're like, oh, yeah. No homework, yeah, we can coast through the day.
And it's great to enjoy watching the NCAA tournament. Should it be a national holiday?
Would Joe Brown allow you to stay home?
Actually, this is a true story. I watched the ACC tournament back in '83, and so I pretended to be sick, and I watched the opening round of the NCAA tournament.
See, I seem to remember that some years Mama would maybe give me Friday.
Yeah, that just to watch, and
yeah, just let me stay home and watch. If my grades were, if I was doing good with my studies and nothing really going on,
and you were doing good with your studies
until I got to Tech.
You could go to
and I had to study.
You could go to 11 and then get a stomach bug, head home.
Looking through the SEC, we'll give a little SEC report, and Preacher Man give us a breakdown of everyone in the SEC in the NCAA tournament. But I'm looking at baseball right now. No doubt, and you look at plans for Omaha, but Auburn is 4-0, 19-2 overall. Had the big midweek win over Georgia Tech and the win last night versus the University of Texas. But also joining them are Kentucky, 19-3. They're 4-0 in the league as well. Florida, 3-1, 19-4 overall. Georgia, 3-1. Oklahoma, 3-1. Arkansas, 3-1. You get to drop off of Texas, 2-2. Mississippi State, 2-2. Vanderbilt, 2-2. A&M, 1-3. Ole Miss, 1-3. Missouri, Bama, Tennessee, LSU, all 1-3. And
LSU's 2-3.
At the bottom, South Carolina's 0-4.
Is it time for Paul?
That's where I was going.
They got hammered yesterday. I think a 20 spot hung on them. You see that happen on Sunday sometimes, but when you're getting 20 hung on you on a Friday night, not good.
No, it is not. LSU
2-3.
See, I'm on the SEC.
They played Thursday.
They did. Okay, so they haven't updated. So Oklahoma. So they have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series.
So OU should probably be 4-2.
Yeah.
And they split Thursday and yesterday.
Are people unhappy? Well, I mean, obviously, I said this last week, and you said I was just hating on it. But you look at it, is baseball right now the bell cow in men's sport at LSU?
Well, I mean, financially, of course not. But as far as
success and...
But, I mean, that's been that way for 30 years.
But you pull for the Tigers. Is this the lowest year in all sports at LSU in your recent memory?
I mean, if you go just directly by winning percentage, maybe. It doesn't feel terrible, but it's lackluster.
We had LSU lost out of the SEC tournament. NC State lost out of the NCAA tournament. Are we going to hear an announcement, or is McMahon going to be back next year?
I think they're waiting for that. I don't know if the 5th of April, whenever the date that Will Wade's buyout decreases by whatever, 2 or 3 million. I think it's like at 5 and drops down to 2.5 or somewhere in that area. Don't quote me on the roundabout figures, but basically chops it in half, and I think that'll be the key date to see if anything gets done.
And if you're Matt McMahon, are you waiting? Are you okay with just waiting because you know you're going to have your buyout, or would you like if they're going to terminate you?
No, you wait on that buyout.
You're waiting on the buyout,
yeah.
But if you're going to terminate me now so I can get another job, or is he okay with that settlement and sitting out for a little while?
I think you're willing to wait 7, 8, 10 days and let the mud clear through and see what happens, because if he hangs it up, then he doesn't get his buyout. So,
well, yeah, and his agent can have talks with somebody and have details worked out.
So our schedule, Duke,
and the same thing with Will. I mean, his people's people have already been talking to other people's people, and I think I believe it's just a matter of formality.
Love to hear from you at 888-993-7762. That is the Origin Bank hotline and text line. Reach us this morning again, 888-993-7762. Love to hear from you.
We got Lewis.
Lewis, how are you this morning?
Doing good, Coach. How you been doing?
Man, doing great. Great to hear from you.
You too, Coach. So I have a question for everybody that's on this Will Wade. What if you do? What are y'all gonna do if he doesn't come? Because it's not guaranteed he's coming. Because it can be dangerous to throw all your eggs in one basket.
I'm starting to get the feeling more and more that they may just wait another year, save the money, and go readdress everything this time next year. Lewis, that's just reading how the wind blows, but I'm with you. It does feel like I don't know if there's a plan B.
I don't think they have one because all you're hearing everybody say, Will Wade, Will Wade, Will Wade. My question is, really, how far did you get when you had it?
Well, they were making the tournament. They were making the tournament every year, and I feel like that's probably a reasonable expectation.
But how close does Will Wade get you to beating Florida and Alabama and Auburn and Kentucky and that Tennessee? That's Vanderbilt. That's 6 right there. That's 6 teams right there in the SEC that are way
probably not as
better.
much as people think, but the enthusiasm that it shoots into the program as far as season tickets, selling merch, just all around and interest in the program in general. I don't know it's one of those weird things where Will Wade, I don't think anybody will accuse him of being a top 5 coach out there, probably not even top 10, but it just seems like he fits in Baton Rouge beyond just on the hardwood.
I don't know.
I think if you're going to look at it seriously, I would look in and see and get, in my opinion, what I would do. I know Will Wade is a popular, sexy choice, but right now he's still coaching at North Carolina State. And I will tell you, North Carolina State is a better job than LSU. 6 days a week and twice on Sunday. No doubt about it. I would go find a coach that's successful in winning and needs to move on, and that would be Mick Cronin. But Mick Cronin is not a sexy hire, but he would be a solid hire. Now, he's still at UCLA, but watch the Bruins on their run. That's where I would look in that direction. But right now, I will tell you this. Matt McMahon, there was nothing to play for, and LSU played hard the entire game. They never laid down. You look yesterday in the NCAA tournament, the Georgia Bulldogs kind of laid down for Mike White. I never saw any quit in the LSU Tigers under Matt McMahon.
No, I didn't either, Coach. I totally agree with you on that, and that's why I think that says a lot about keeping him, because maybe that's some momentum you can use going forward into next year. But at the same time, it's kind of like, what is LSU going to put into that men's basketball program? Because it seems like all their money is going to Lane Kiffin. And then what's going to happen when that blows up in your face and you don't win? Because
that's not going to happen.
The most money
Lane Kiffin's winning 4 national championships in 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would say that if he wins 2 in the next 5
They'll
years,
build a statue.
I will go on every social media platform in America and apologize. I don't believe it's gonna happen, because I believe something is about to get done about this NIL stuff to the point where they can't just money. I think something's going to get restructured on that. I believe it's coming. There's a reason why Nick Saban then was at the White House.
You are correct, man. Lewis, always appreciate your call. Thanks for listening to the Nick Brown Show. You have a great weekend.
Hey, you all too, Coach.
All right, you can call just like Lewis did at 888-993-7762. Again, 888-993-7762. But here's what you're saying, Tabor, without saying it. Will Wade is a sexier hire, and a sexier coach, and more attractive than Matt McMahon. And that's where you're looking now.
He's got the it factor that Matt doesn't have.
And notice he probably needs to hit a little gym work, the picture there.
He is the human pair.
And there's no excuse for a coach to be out of shape. My gosh. What they get exercise equipment, diet-wise, dietitians. I mean, come on. But is it realistic?
I'll have you know, Rick Majerus was a darn solid coach.
He was, but there was no excuse for him
He's no
to be
longer
as
with
big as
us,
he
huh?
was. But is it realistic year in and year out to expect? Because we're just not seeing a football power be a basketball power. So do you have to temper those expectations for whatever reason? I mean, Florida, but now Florida's not very good in football.
All right, so that's a great
Michigan on occasion, but who is
the
team that year in and year out is you're a basketball power, you're a football power.
Well, let's ask the most intelligent audience in all of sports radio right now, looking at the bracket, the NCAA bracket. It doesn't matter if they've already been eliminated. Which team is the best football basketball combo?
Yeah, I mean, right.
Is it Alabama?
Well, we'll let the intelligent listeners on Smash Hits 94.5. I think Steve is going to say that. Bubba's going to say that. Is it Alabama? Is it Alabama with Kalen DeBoer and Nate Oates and the seasons they've had this year? Is that the two? I think the most right now. We're not talking about 5 years ago. We're not talking about 10 years ago. We're talking about right now. Looking at your bracket, which one says, "Hey, they had a strong football and very good basketball"? Is it Duke? No. What about Ohio State? No. Ohio State.
They made the tournament.
Where's Indiana basketball now?
Not in the tournament.
Can you
They've
be?
got funny enough, they've got the highest operating budget in college basketball.
So what Preacher Man is implying is you can't be great in two.
It just doesn't seem like over
It's
time.
an ebb and flow.
Over time, somebody's not being consistently good.
What was Michigan State in football this year?
Yeah, not very good.
What was UCLA in football this year?
a bigger.
Well, look at your number one seeds.
What about Georgia? Would Georgia make an argument with Alabama? I know they lost.
Think about this with Georgia. This year was the most wins they've ever won in the regular season in the history. And they won 22 games.
That's over Hugh Durham. What about
22
Texas?
games.
Okay, what about Texas A&M, Elko?
I think they're in the mix.
Yeah. So we want your opinion, the most intelligent, all of sports radio.
Bucky Ball looked pretty good Thursday.
It sure did. Out of Sanford to the Texas A&M. Love to hear from you. We're going to refill that coffee cup, grab another Pillowy Pluff Delicious Daylight Donut. Come back. We're going to talk about a little bourbon of the month right here on the Nick Brown Show. We'll be right back after this break.
I'm hashing over an ethical dilemma, so I think I could use some black coffee.
Of course, you can get black coffee and all your favorite coffee beverages at the Depot Coffee Shop. The Depot Coffee Shop is located at 211 West Railroad Avenue in downtown Ruston. The Depot Coffee Shop is coffee with a cause. The Depot Coffee Shop is open Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. and on Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 to 3. Call in your order at 232-7084 or visit the Depot Coffee Shop.
Provision Security, preserving your past, protecting your future. Cameras, doorbell cameras, systems you can control all from your smartphone. Security systems with low monthly monitoring starting at $14.99. Provision Security is more than security. Sound systems, hanging your flat screen TV, speakers in your ceiling, even Wi-Fi systems. Provision Security, 314 East Georgia in Ruston. Call Michael at 773-3703. Check him out on Facebook. Provision Security.
Hey guys, the gals aren't the only ones that care about their look. Let Adrian Russell or Dara Davis at La Bella Salon give you just the right hairstyle. Need a massage? Mamie Lee is their massage therapist and can work out those sore, tired muscles. Go ahead, schedule an appointment today. Call La Bella Salon 202-5848. La Bella Salon, 105 Reynolds Drive next to Skip Russell State Farm in Ruston. What are you waiting for? Now's a great time to give them a call. La Bella Salon, 202-5848. Walk-ins welcome.
Many of us are involved in auto accidents, and it's not uncommon that you may not be sore immediately after the accident, but that all changes after a few days when you begin to experience pain and inflammation. You call your regular physician, find out they don't treat auto accidents. What do? Call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network Chiropractic Clinic in Ruston. They've always treated auto accident injuries. Chiropractic treatments work to get your neck and back aligned and moving again to reduce the pain and inflammation so you can feel good again. When you hurt from an injury, call us at Chiro Network in Ruston. We'll do our best to help you feel good again.
Okay, so clearly the word is out about Country Pleasin' sausage. Thank you for helping make Country Pleasin' your go-to sausage on game day. From original to jalapeno and cheese, black pepper cheddar, even crawfish and pork, we can't get enough at Sports Talk 97.7, and it seems loud at countrypleasin.com. That's countrypleasin.com.
This is Brandon Kraft, General Manager at Homes Plus. This tax season, we have got with our factories to offer our customers guaranteed build times. So don't just spend your tax return, invest it into the next place you will call home. And everyone be on the lookout for the all-new tiny home coming soon.
Get the plus, Homes Plus.
So come see us on Highway 165 North in Monroe or visit us at homesplus.com.
Thanks for tuning in to The Nick Brown Show. On the air, online, and free app.
Welcome back to The Nick Brown Show.
Lewis says Alabama.
Alabama, the strongest. Lewis Wood. No.
And we got another text that said Lewis is also right on Will Wade.
Okay, we're gonna hold on for Bourbon of the Month for just a second, and we'll get to that. But Tabor has put all his eggs in Will Wade's basket. Now, I actually owe Tabor a meal because before he went through his medical crisis, medical situation, he actually bought my dinner at Louisiana Tech baseball game. It was actually very good.
Yeah, the wings were outstanding that night.
And we actually split half and half. He purchased them and gave me the option. That's a good guy. He purchased the wings, gave me the option. I said, no, you bought them. So he went with the buffalo. Then halfway through, I could tell he wanted one of my, what was it, sweet and spicy?
I think it was barbecue.
Anyway, so we switched halfway through. But, Tabor, you look at this and the stock you put in Will Wade. Could you be disappointed?
No, sure you could.
No, I'm asking, okay, all right, let me rephrase that question because you're the voice of reason today with Preacher Man, Cheerman, and yourself. What would mark a successful tenure at LSU for Will Wade? Round of 64? All right, okay, Will Wade is hired tomorrow, gets a 4-year deal. What is success for John Tabor?
Make the tournament each year. Splash maybe a Sweet 16 in there.
Okay. How about you, Preacher Man? Would that would be success?
Oh, yeah, I think so. And you never know. You get the right draw, right loss, you might get to Elite Eight.
Well, the unknown texter, if Lewis is right on Will Wade, he ain't that great, and Kevin ain't either. Wait as sexy LSU in trouble. So who would you want? Do you want Mac McMahon, solid OVC coach? Is that who you want? Can Mac McMahon lead it to the success that you want? You're third in your own building. You're third in your own building behind women's basketball, gymnastics. And let's be honest. Is it time to replace the PMAC? Is it time to replace the PMAC? Is it time to replace Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa?
But in this day and time, are you going to invest that much money into that? You invested in players, you invested in facilities. It's a tough call.
I find this very ironic. Now, on the campus of Louisiana Tech, I think it's going to be a great facility. The Origin Bank Academic Center is going up in the end zone at Louisiana Tech. In this day and age, now you and I both know what college is about, right? You went to college to better your situation in life so you could get a better job or an education. Is there any emphasis on academics anymore? And I think that's where you're going to have the great divide between college athletics. Look, in your home state of Tennessee, University of the South was the dominant program in the SEC. And now you look at where it is, and I know you probably never even heard of the University of the South. But those academics, those in charge, the administration back then, they didn't know it would get to this extreme. But here's the thing, Preacher Man. Back when the University of the South decided to get out of the game, what the game was transitioning to back then is very congruent to what we have is transitioning to today. and when they decided to pull out of the SEC.
Yeah,
And
I think they saw the handwriting on the wall, which you would have to have, budget-wise, facility-wise, at that point. There weren't going to be any more, 4 games in 6 days on a train. Back in the day when if a player went out, he couldn't come back in. It's kind of like soccer. You got injured, you go out, you can't come back in. So game was definitely changing, and they probably looked and said, we're probably not going to get 15,000 students up on this mountain either.
Question on the Origin Bank text line from FS. Would Smoke Laval have had better success at LSU if he had coached at Northwestern State instead of ULM? All right, I'm a huge MAC guy. It's kind of interesting because Mississippi Association of Community Colleges, and my wife was looking up the MAC the other day. And I said, no, you got to type in Mississippi Association of Community College. In Miami of Ohio is a cradle of coaches for college football. Look at what Northwestern State is for college baseball. It is a cradle of coaches. So, FS, I'll answer this question by saying, yeah, probably so. Probably so. I think that is a very – you look Dave Van Horn, Lane Burroughs at Louisiana Tech. You go Gaspard, Mitch Gaspard that coached at Alabama, Jim Wells that coached at Alabama. You look at that, all started – by the way, Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC. See, no one makes a big deal about that, FS. Like if I was Northwestern State, I would have that on the huge billboard. And by the way, the best Natchitoches meat pies are actually in a gas station going toward Park Natchitoches over off the campus of Northwestern State. And with that, we have the guy that picked McNeese to go to the Final Four. That would be Quint. Good morning, Quint. How are you?
Good morning, guys. I didn't quite have that much faith in the Will Weightless Cowpokes. I picked them to get to the Sweet 16 and then get beat.
There you go. Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick at all.
No, that was a. As I told my son, this tournament isn't about if an upset's going to happen. It's when, how many, and will you pick them.
How much of that relied on the fact that you live in Louisiana? You know that Tabor says, I hate Louisiana. You know that you say, I hate Louisiana. How much of that was because they're from your home state?
I would say a pretty good bit. I wanted to be able to say that I bet on my home state and won. That would have been a pretty good feeling. So, yeah. Getting to your question about LSU, I think Tabor kind of hit it on the head. LSU basketball's goal for right now is to let people know that they even have a basketball team. It's to be relevant.
Wow.
As a diehard sports fan, I can't tell you the last time I watched the LSU men's basketball game. I have friends that do the various media reporting for them, and they view it as a purgatory that they just have to get finished with. There's nothing exciting about watching LSU men's basketball right now. The team played hard for him at the last 3 games of the year, but where was that for the other 30 games? There was times where you could have put a high school team out there and had better results.
All right, Quint, you're the AD at LSU. Do you fire Matt McMahon, and who is choice number 1 for you?
I probably, given the knowledge that I have, without knowing all the inside workings of contracts and stuff like that, I probably fire McMahon, and I go in order of Will Wade, Bruce Pearl, and Chris Beard from Ole Miss, just to tick off the Ole Miss fans that we stole both their coaches.
You know what, Quint? You are becoming. You're
Quint the accountant.
No, Quint the accountant.
I
but
like
I
that.
want to tell you, Quint's his sports knowledge has what he shared has grown over the years of calling into the show. I really like it, Quint. That is a great top 3. I think that John Tabor actually agrees with you on all 3 of those.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like the Beard idea.
Oh, he's a good coach. He's a good coach.
Okay, and Nick, just to finish up on another topic, you were mentioning about the balance of academics and sports performance for college sports. Whenever I hear this conversation, I always go back. This is years ago now. This is right when the steroid thing hit the fan in Major League Baseball. Mike and Mike were still on the air, and they had as a one of their regular guests was the guy that was in management for the Mets back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And they basically asked him how much knowledge did he have about steroids and his players using them. And, of course, he's not going to give you the answer you want. But the answer he had was, well, it's kind of a give and take. It's kind of hard to hang a billboard up on the expressway saying that we're the cleanest team in Major League Baseball, but we're only hitting a $185. It's kind of hard to put a billboard up at LSU saying that our kids have a 4.0 GPA, but they can't score a basket.
That is absolutely like Bear Bryant said. No one's going to, not 80,000 people aren't going to watch you take a math test.
Exactly. I mean, there's a balance, yes. I mean, I agree that academics are the reason that you're there. And I kind of hate to see the downfall of this. I wish they would just go ahead and make it some sort of minor league or something for the upper crust of the schools. Because for the upper crust of the schools, that's what this is. If you look at the Alabamas, the LSUs, the Michigans, Ohio States, this is minor league sports, especially in the college football game. But if you go down to LSU and to Tech and Northwestern State and the schools we follow a little closer, it's still at least got some. There's at least some part of it that's still rooted in true college sports. I mean, you've still got a large percentage of those players that won't ever see the NFL. They're going to go on to be your architects and your doctors and stuff like that. And that's what college sports was truly about. It's over the years, it's morphed into something that I don't think anybody saw happening.
Absolutely. You are correct. Man, Quinn, I always appreciate you listening to the show. Good luck with the rest of your bracket, and thanks for listening to the Nick Brown Show. Appreciate you calling in.
Okay, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
And Quinn also shouted out to your wife a congratulations in his text.
Yeah.
Now, you're Auburn alumni. I think Barkley on the basketball, whatever, the halftime pregame, had some good comments just talking about, are we going to allow something that benefits 1 to 5% of athletes mess up the entire system?
He and Dick Vitale the other night.
At a big school, maybe that's 10%, but at most schools, it's 1 to 5%, and you're going to mess up everything for the other 90 to 95% over this.
I love your opinion. 888-993-7762. You listen to the Nick Brown Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Here is your weather forecast here on this Saturday. Look for beautiful conditions today. A few clouds will be in the area. Our highs will be a little warmer for this time of the year, a high of 85 and a low of 60. For your Sunday, look for great weather once again, a high of 86 and a low of 60 under sunshiny skies. And then for Monday, a few more clouds will move into the area. Temperatures will cool off just a little bit with a high of 79 and a low of 52.
Don't let concerns about current events derail your long-term financial strategy. Hi, I'm Edward Jones, financial advisor Jeremy Hebert, and I'm here to help. We can work together to understand today's financial landscape and make sure you achieve your goals. While you can't control market volatility, you can control your financial future. Let's connect. Start by giving me a call at 318-251-9200.
Member SIPC.
I'm hashing over an ethical dilemma, so I think I could use some black coffee.
Of course, you can get black coffee and all your favorite coffee beverages at the Depot Coffee Shop. The Depot Coffee Shop is located at 211 West Railroad Avenue in downtown Ruston. The Depot Coffee Shop is coffee with a cause. The Depot Coffee Shop is open Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. and on Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 to 3. Call in your order at 232-7084 or visit the Depot Coffee Shop.
Many of us are involved in auto accidents, and it's not uncommon that you may not be sore immediately after the accident, but that all changes after a few days when you begin to experience pain and inflammation. You call your regular physician, find out they don't treat auto accidents. What do? Call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network Chiropractic Clinic in Ruston. They've always treated auto accident injuries. Chiropractic treatments work to get your neck and back aligned and moving again to reduce the pain and inflammation so you can feel good again. When you hurt from an injury, call us at Chiro Network in Ruston. We'll do our best to help you feel good again.
Friends, this is Skip Russell, your #1 insurance agent in Ruston for the past 42 years. I want you to know that I would be proud to be your insurance agent. Come by and check out our new lower rates on automobile insurance. Call us at 255-5050 or come by our office at 105 Reynolds Drive in Ruston. That's behind Wendy's and Captain D's. Thank you.
Choose the Champs Kids Club for your little Bulldogs and Lady Texters at home. Your child will receive season tickets to all Tech home games and an exclusive Champs Kids Club membership box, lanyard and credential, cooling towel, duck call, t-shirt, clear crossbody bag, and wall flag. Plus, there's exclusive access to special Kids Club events, game day opportunities, and more. For more information, contact the Tech Ticket Office at 318-257-3631 or visit lawtechsports.com. Have your littles bark louder with Champs Kids Club.
Sports Talk, Southern Style, on the Nick Brown Show.
Welcome back to the Nick Brown Show. Going to talk about our bourbon of the month today. And the bourbon of the month for the month of March, brought to you by Divine Wine and the Keg Package, is New Riff Single Barrel Bourbon. And now it's interesting about it because it's bottled in bond. And you ask, well, what does bottled in bond mean? That means you're coming from one barrel. And this goes back to the days of Prohibition. When Prohibition was repealed, you had a lot of people making a product that really you couldn't guarantee how good the quality was. So you have bond. And bottled in bond means you're coming from a single barrel. Now, this has to be, and it has to be aged for a minimum of 4 years. And I can tell you that normally when I buy a bourbon, I look for one that is aged a little bit longer than 4 years. But what makes this one interesting is the fact that it is not cold filtered. So because of that, it's going to have a greater age taste than 4 years. And it really is good. It's 110 to 120 proof. The bottle that I have is 110.3 proof. It's got a high ride, bold, complex flavor profile, but I really like it when you smell it. And I'll let these two guys smell it this morning. They didn't taste it, but intense rye, peppercorn, and cinnamon on the palate. Absolutely great. It's very rich. You would love it. Caramel, toffee, dark chocolate is the aroma, which is great, but it has the finish of this bourbon is it's long, hot, and spicy. You do have lingering notes of cinnamon. So think about bourbon with a little mix of Fireball, but it is great. It is a great value for the price. Normally going to be around $50 a bottle for it, but 110.3 proof. It is New Riff Single Barrel Bourbon, and you can pick that up at Divine Wine and the Keg Package, sponsors of the Bourbon of the Month. Now, on Bourbon Culture, it did get a rating of 7.6 out of 10, and it has just a great finish. So this is one that you're going to enjoy. This is one that you will have neat or over ice. This is not one you're going to mix with your Diet Coke, but New Riff Single Barrel Bourbon. And again, the bottle.
You sound like a bourbon sommelier. That was impressive.
Well, you know, here's the thing, and I read a lot about it, and of course so I could bring that to you and read it. And here's the thing, I don't just tell you about the product, I also happen to, a good spokesperson for a product is going to sample the product. And I could tell you, went to some high school baseball last night, came home just to unwind a little bit and had it neat, and I really like it neat with no ice, but very good. You could have it neat or over ice. That's New Riff Single Barrel Bourbon, available at Divine Wine and the Keg Package off the Tarbutton Road in Ruston. Your thoughts and opinions about the bourbon of the month. If you purchased it and tried it, let us know at 888-993-7762. That is the Origin Bank hotline and text line. A lot of texts rolling in this morning. Boy, Quint chiming in with the bourbon of the month should be sponsored by FBC Ruston. Now, the views of the bourbon of the month are not those reflected with the preacher man. We'll just go ahead and say
just all things in moderation.
Interesting, going back, looking at the NCAA tournament, we did ask the question about what program or what athletic department is the most successful if you look at football and basketball. And I think you're probably going to say Alabama is definitely one of those in the mix for the most successful athletic program. But love to hear from you again, 888-993-7762.
You think he said at Alabama, or do you think he would consider something else, just with all that sort of, is he like, I'm set here because I can pretty much do what I want to do and there's not much repercussions? Or at some point, do you want to get away from all that swirled around it?
You talking about Nate Oates?
Yes.
I think that
go to a basketball-only school.
I think that would be a thought. He came from Buffalo, and the money's great at the University of Alabama. Coleman Coliseum is not that great of a facility. You look at the new arenas that have been built. I mean, Thompson-Boling I remember when it was new. Rupp Arena is iconic. What I find funny, if you look at it, the teams with the newer arenas this year, Auburn, Ole Miss, they're both at home. Georgia needs a new arena, but where are they? They made the NCAA tournament. Now, they've been eliminated.
Ole Miss.
Yeah, new arena, they didn't make it.
Now, Florida's is fairly new.
No, O'Connell Center's
They
been
remodeled
around.
it.
They've remodeled it. So the question is, do I think Nate Oates would want to get out of Tuscaloosa? I think it'd have to be a high-profile job, and you look, what are the high-profile jobs that are open?
Syracuse.
I wouldn't. I mean, well, he coached in Buffalo, but would you leave? I wouldn't leave Alabama for Syracuse.
I mean, historically, that's been a better program, and you're definitely the number one sport on campus.
That's a great question. We'll ask the most intelligent audience in all of sports radio. Now, not just trying to run off. They may be totally happy.
Yeah. They may want to stay there forever. Like I said, he doesn't seem to get slapped much for anything. So,
you know, you how could?
Well, I mean, you know, there have been a few things the last couple of years.
That is a great question. That's a good question. I don't know where you would leave Alabama for that is going to be. You're going to have a better arena you go through. Okay, since you brought up, would Nate Oates be a candidate? I don't think Nate Oates would be a candidate for the LSU job should it become available. I think that what's going on with Aiden Holloway, what went on a couple of years ago, I think that's going to prohibit Nate Oates from moving within the conference. So I'll take out any SEC school because you look at it, back time you had Tubby Smith went from Georgia to Kentucky. Mike White went from Florida to Georgia. Are you going to have a movement within the league? And how far is this Alabama team going to go? I think whether they're playing Texas Tech and I think Texas Tech defeats Alabama. So, not going to get fired at the University of Alabama.
No, he's
one.
a very good coach.
So, would he be open and welcome at another SEC institution?
I don't think it's a matter of whether he would be open. I think it's more of a matter of what institutions want to take that chance on him.
And that's a great question. And so, I don't.
I mean, would UCLA look at him?
Okay, I think UCLA would look at him if Mick Cronin, but you have to go back to what they went through with Herrick and Steve Lavin. Would UCLA? Yeah, that would be a good landing spot. That would be a place. But, you know, actually a good thought-provoking question. And I'm not trying to run off those listening on Smash Hits 94.5, run off Nate Oates, but I think there's a point where when you're winning, obviously winning cures all woes, but there's a point where I think the University of Alabama fan base would say, like, hey, we might want to go in a new direction. But I don't see it happening within the league. And so do you see a Big Ten job? And let me ask you this. Because of all the situations, whether they're his fault or not, is Nate Oates too toxic for another job right now?
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm Alabama, I don't want him to go because despite everything, he wins. And, you know, making the tournament is never something to take for granted, especially winning a game or two in the tournament. That's what I want to smack Tennessee fans for when they get on to Barnes. I'm like, guys, you know, let's be for real. This is the longest run we've ever had making the the NCAA tournament. Be very careful with thinking somebody's going to get you to a whole nother level when you've never really been at a whole nother level. So I think Alabama fans, but I definitely think there's places he could go. They might put things in the contract on the front end, but I don't know.
Well, I think Nate Oates would be. I think that his grass would be greener for a lot of people, but how many people are willing to take the fertilizer that comes with it?
Yeah,
absolutely. We'd love to hear from you at 888-993-7762. A lot of texts rolling in this morning. Getting to Steve chiming in. Alabama pitcher Tyler Fay, no-hit, number 18, Florida, 6-0 last night. It's the first solo 9-inning no-hitter for Alabama since 1942.
Yeah, Alabama's doing. They have started well, started hot. And Luke Allen chiming in, listening to the show, so said he always learns something new.
Well, there you go. Educational and informative. That's what we try to be here on the Nick Brown Show. We'd love to hear from you at 888-993-7762. But you guys bring up questions. We talk about coaches moving. Most high-profile job open. You got Scott Cross that went to Georgia Tech from Troy. Syracuse, the next best job that you have open.
I mean, you know, they have great support in the basketball. I don't know that I'd be crazy about playing where they play, but they do draw big crowds, have good support. And like I said, you would be the number one sport on campus. So I don't know. I don't know what their money's like, NIL's like. I mean, it's a big school, a lot of alumni, plenty of money, but I don't know how good they are at collecting it all. I don't keep up with basketball up in that part of the world like I should. Like I heard earlier I don't know if it was you, Tabor, or somebody was talking earlier this week about how exciting Big East basketball used to be with the players and who all was involved and Big Mondays. And I did keep up with it back then because it was great basketball.
Well, I was listening. I was driving back from the metropolis of Weston, Mississippi. And here's the thing, and I appreciate you listening to the Nick Brown Show, and I'm glad you learned something, Luke. Here's what is interesting to me. We assume that when we're listening that all of these announcers, Westwood One, I was listening to Westwood One on satellite radio. Now, I'm a terrestrial radio guy, but when you're traveling, I listen to college basketball. Who is Jay Wright? Who is Jay Wright? Where did he coach?
Villanova.
Correct. And watch, Tabor's going to listen to me now. Did you know that Jay Wright led Villanova to their first national title?
I knew they had been up there. I didn't realize that was their first one to win, I don't guess.
Come on, Tabor.
What are you talking about?
I was listening to Westwood One, and they did a little coach's bio, and they talked about Jay Wright, won some award, and he led Villanova. This is what I was listening to on satellite radio, that Jay Wright led Villanova to their first national title.
Well, they'd be wrong.
That's a hunt. Thank you. Thank you. I yelled at the radio. Everyone looked at me in traffic like I had lost my mind. Who led Villanova to their first national title?
It'd be Raleigh.
Raleigh Massimino. Raleigh Massimino. Bonus if you could name the guard that went to the White House and on drugs, and then Tom Grice was the center on that team, was a post player on that team. And so I appreciate you listening to this show. What we're going to do is we're going to give you information, and we're going to be factual about it. But no, if you're ever listening, Jay Wright did not lead Villanova to their first national title. That was Raleigh Massimino. We're going to take a break. Ben Carlisle from Bleed Tech Blue is going to join us. We're going to take what in the world is going on with Louisiana Tech. They're in the Conference USA schedule. They're in the Sun Belt schedule. Maybe they'll form a split squad and play both. You listen to the Nick Brown Show on the Nick Brown Show Network. We'll be right back after this break. Nick Brown for All Hours Fitness Ruston. In Ruston, life doesn't stop at 5 o'clock, neither should your goals. Welcome to All Hours Fitness Ruston, your 24/7 destination for strength, health, and a better you. We've just grown. Enjoy over 15,000 square feet of premium equipment, outdoor training, and live classes. With our exclusive ladies-only area, cryotherapy, red light therapy, massage bed, and tanning, we've taken away every excuse. Locally owned, built for life. Join the family at All Hours Fitness Ruston today.
Every family deserves to feel their best, from babies to grandparents. Whether it's general health and family care or an auto, sports, or work injury, Mayfield Chiropractic in Ruston can help your family stay healthy and active. Caring hands, real relief, a place you can trust. Mayfield Chiropractic, family care that feels like home. 209 East Reynolds Drive in Ruston. Call 224-7090 or go to MayfieldChiropracticRuston.com.
Sexton Animal Health Center in Ruston serves your pet and you, providing high-quality pet health and wellness services to assist your pet in living a longer, happier, and healthier life, and providing you with access to leading-edge products, services, and educational content to enhance the bond with your pet. Sexton Animal Health Center is a full-service veterinary medical facility, providing the best possible medical, surgical, digital radiology, and dental care for their patients. And ask about pet daycare and boarding, too. Sexton Animal Health Center, 1628 East Kentucky in Ruston. Become a friend on Facebook to receive the latest news and updates.
You know what that sound means. It's time for the Pillowy Pluff Delicious Daylight Donut. Go visit them at 108 Monticello Avenue in Ruston, just north of I-20. They're open Monday 5:30 to 10:30 a.m., Tuesday through Friday 5:30 to 11:30 a.m., and on Saturday and Sunday from 6 to 12. Daylight Donuts of Ruston, proudly supporting the Nick Brown Show for the last 10 years. Ask for a wedding cake-filled donut. It's a Nick Brown Show favorite.
When Brownie buys bourbon, it's at the Keg Package. Operating since 1972, the Keg Package has been serving the Ruston Grambling community for over 50 years. The Hightowers purchased the Keg in 2005 and built a new prime location in 2013 on the Tarbutton exit. They offer a wide variety of hard-to-find beer, wine, and liquor. They also have over 20 flavors of delicious frozen drinks. You can purchase Best Stop Boudin and sausage along with Louisiana Tech steaks. Come experience Divine Wine and the Keg Package.
Friends, this is Skip Russell, your #1 insurance agent in Ruston for the past 42 years. I want you to know that I would be proud to be your insurance agent. Come by and check out our new lower rates on automobile insurance. Call us at 255-5050 or come by our office at 105 Reynolds Drive in Ruston. That's behind Wendy's and Captain D's. Thank you.
Get in the game. Now, back to the Nick Brown Show.
Welcome back to the Nick Brown Show on the Nick Brown Show Network. If you want to see what we look like, you can follow the Nick Brown Show on YouTube, live streaming the national treasure that is John Tabor every Saturday
Thankfully,
morning.
I hope I'm off camera.
Oh, well, we're going to add it. We're going to have a Tabor cam. We're going to put it over here.
We're not.
Well, yeah, Tabor cam. Just hit that. But joining us on the Origin Bank hotline is Bleed Tech Blue publisher Ben Carlisle. Ben, good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. When you texted me for the interview this morning, I said, well, if I'm going to be on the Nick Brown Show, I better get some buys and tries in this morning. So excited to be on with you.
Hey, there you go. Just don't skip leg day. I want to tell you, boy, it is crazy. Louisiana Tech fans were super excited. The announcement was made, going to make the move to the Sun Belt, going to be more regional, renew the rivalry with Southern Miss to the top, and actually play a school 29 miles down the road, the Warhawks of Louisiana Monroe. And then all of a sudden, Conference USA says, to quote Lee Corso, not so fast. And both conferences released a schedule with Louisiana Tech on them, Ben.
Yeah, you go all the way back to July. Like you said, I think Louisiana Tech fans and, those within the athletic department were obviously excited, and rightfully so. It's an opportunity to get back in more of a geographical fit league for the program. But, over the last 8 months, as you go through some of these negotiations, they've just been unable to work out things with Conference USA. And a lot of people, they always pose the question to me, how is this any different than, what Southern Miss, Old Dominion, and Marshall went through? I guess that was back in, 21, 22? I think they left in 22 officially. And the thing that's different about this situation is that in August of 23, Conference USA put in a grant of rights, and I think it was a 5-year contract, and I think the terms of the deal was like $800,000 per year. Now, as far as what the buyout goes, I think on Tech's side, their argument is, how enforceable is a grant of rights? We've seen that argument go on a lot in the ACC with Florida State, Miami, and some of those. And then on the other side, it's like, why can't we reach a middle ground? And that's ultimately what the two sides have been unable to reach. But I still think Tech ends up in the Sun Belt come July. Just it's going to continue to be maybe a bit of a messy process to get there.
Okay, so if you had to put a percentage to it, is there a percentage that Tech remains in Conference USA, and how will the fan base respond to that if that is the case?
Yeah, that's $1 million question. I don't know. I don't, and the reason I say that is this: we haven't seen a team get stuck in a league. Like, if they've wanted to leave, whenever it might be, they've been able to get out. I think Grand Canyon's gone through some stuff trying to get out of the Western Athletic Conference when they were moving to the Mountain West. I believe that's where they played this year. A lot of litigation was going on, and I believe some of that litigation's still going on, but they participated in the new conference this year. So I think ultimately Tech gets out. As far as staying in Conference USA, I don't know, less than 5% would be, what I would put it out. Now, I will say this. If you do end up getting stuck in Conference USA, I wouldn't want to be answering the phones or opening the emails. I think it would be catastrophic. And that's not to say that, there's not a lot of supporters of Louisiana Tech athletics, because there is. I just think you've sold this move to the Sun Belt for 8 months now, and then if you ultimately get stuck for another year, it's going to be pretty bleak.
All right, I think what you basically said is that if Louisiana Tech were in Conference USA next year, apathy would set in across your athletic department fan base.
Well, yeah, and I think we've talked a lot about apathy, and not only at Louisiana Tech. I think it's happening all over the country with just the evolution of NIL, transfer portal, access to games when it comes to watching on ESPN+. There's so many different factors, and we talk about apathy. You don't win at a certain level for a number of years, fans stop showing up. I don't think we know what the word apathy means if Louisiana Tech had to stay in Conference USA another year.
All right, I'm going to just ask this question. I followed women's basketball. You saw what Brooke Store was able to do, win the regular season in Conference USA. Was it a slap in the face from the conference? And I know how they vote, but Paris Bradley was not voted Player of the Year because clearly, and I am biased, but I thought she was the absolute best player in Conference USA women's basketball, and she wasn't named Player of the Year. And I thought this is just a slap in the face towards Louisiana Tech.
Well, I think that's certainly possible, and I also think there's some pettiness. I think when you look at the other schools in the conference, it's no secret. Like, Tech doesn't want to be here, so if you don't want to be in the league, I think you're going to have some votes that aren't necessarily tilted your way. I think, we'll possibly see that upcoming in baseball and softball, and, some of these sports here down the stretch as far as the spring sports go. But I think that's just kind of how it operates probably when you're on your way out. But I do agree with you. Like, your team went 17-1 in the league. Your leading scorer, back-to-back first-team All-Conference USA. I think of one of only 3 Texters to do that all time. Yes, Paris Bradley should have been the Conference USA Player of the Year.
All right, finally, just to wrap things up, could you not just are we going to just reach a financial settlement? Because you go back, and if you're looking at just a Cliff Notes version of the simplified version, bottom line, Louisiana Tech took, let's just keep it simple, took some money from whatever that was the payout from the conference, and then it was announced later that they were leaving soon after receiving that money, and then basically emails showed that the talk with the Sun Belt had happened prior to receiving the money. Is that basically the simplistic version? And could you not just reach a financial settlement and leave Conference USA?
Well, I think that's the Conference USA's argument. Yes, they think that Louisiana Tech was in talks with the Sun Belt before they officially announced, and they're saying that, per the conference bylaws, you're not allowed to do that. And Tech's argument on the other side is, no, we didn't. There's no evidence that we had any sort of conversations, and you had the FOIA lawsuit that went on, and, I don't know if we ever really truly got a ruling. I know Tech had to end up paying the conference, but I don't think it ever came out that Tech was lying about documents in terms of speaking to the Sun Belt. Now, they might not have, sent over all the documents that Conference USA requested, but I don't think you ever got a clear answer as far as they did lie and, we're talking to the Sun Belt. But, yes, I think ultimately you do reach some sort of financial middle ground. You pay your way, you get into the Sun Belt. I think that's been Tech's biggest frustration is Conference USA is unwilling to sit down at the table and say, hey, let's hammer this out. Like, they're set in stone with what the figure they think it should be, and as Tech's wanting to negotiate, Judy has no interest because she goes to bed at 7:30 every night. So it's tough to get a deal done. I've seen a lot of people say you should have went to arbitration a long time ago. I think Tech tried to. I don't think Conference USA was necessarily willing to. So it's been a messy, situation as far as separating the two entities, and you and I talked about it Tuesday on the Sports Company. I think if there were multiple schools involved, like a Southern Miss, Old Dominion, Marshall years ago, I don't think it gets this messy. I think since it's only a singular school, Conference USA can fight it a little bit more because the target's pretty clear. You don't have a number of lawyers coming at you if you're the conference. So hopefully they can reach a middle ground here in the next couple of weeks so we can get this thing put behind us.
All right, final question. Diamond Dogs baseball won last night at a place that they, a launching pad out in Las Cruces should look to win the series today and hopefully get the sweep.
Yeah, good opportunity, like you said, to get off to a good start in Conference USA play. I think it's the first time the program's been 4-0 in conference play since they got into the league. Kobe Lunsford had a big night last night. hit a 464-foot three-run homer and I think a 446-foot grand slam. So it is a launching pad. I was telling Taves during the break, Lunsford has 8 home runs in 23 games at Tech this year. He hit 8 home runs in 75 games during his career at ULM. So he's been a nice surprise, I guess, specifically in the power department. It was a good offensive night. Trey Halsey had a double and a triple. I believe that was the first triple of his Tech career. Cade Patterson had a big night with a couple hits, a couple of RBIs, and Declan Dahl found a way to give you 5 innings and get you into the bullpen. Luke Nichols was really good, and so was Riley Fisher at the end. But another opportunity today. You talk about winning a series, possibly sweeping these guys. It's an absurd place to play baseball. Like it's literally the old cliche. You got to play one pitch at a time, one inning at a time. Because if the wind gets to blowing out in Las Cruces, it can be, you can put up 25, 30 runs on the scoreboard between the two teams very quickly.
All right, tell all our Louisiana Tech fans when they can follow your work, and appreciate you joining us this morning.
Yeah, BleachTechBlue.com. You can actually join us right now for half off. You can get half off a yearly subscription. I got spring practice starting on Monday. Of course, transfer portal and basketball starting to ramp up. Then Tech softball, Tech baseball in the midst of Conference USA play as they hopefully make their push towards an NCAA regional come late May, early June. So come check us out, BleachTechBlue.com, largest G5 message board in the On3 network. We'd love to have you.
All right, appreciate it, Ben. You have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. You too.
All right, we're going to take our final break. Come back. We'll close up shop on The Nick Brown Show. Appreciate you listening to The Nick Brown Show, The Nick Brown Show Network. We'll be right back after this break.
I'm hashing over an ethical dilemma, so I think I could use some black coffee.
Of course, you can get black coffee and all your favorite coffee beverages at the Depot Coffee Shop. The Depot Coffee Shop is located at 211 West Railroad Avenue in downtown Ruston. The Depot Coffee Shop is coffee with a cause. The Depot Coffee Shop is open Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. and on Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 to 3. Call in your order at 232-7084 or visit the Depot Coffee Shop.
Provision Security, preserving your past, protecting your future. Cameras, doorbell cam systems with low monthly monitoring starting at $14.99. Provision Security is more than security. Sound systems, hanging your flat screen TV, speakers in your ceiling, even Wi-Fi systems. Provision Security, 314 East Georgia in Ruston. Call Michael at 773-3703. Check him out on Facebook. Provision Security.
Hey guys, the gals aren't the only ones that care about their look. Let Adrian Russell or Dara Davis at LaBella Salon give you just the right hairstyle. Need a massage? Mamie Lee is their massage therapist and can work out those sore, tired muscles. Go ahead, schedule an appointment today. Call LaBella Salon 202-5848. LaBella Salon, 105 Reynolds Drive, next to Skip Russell State Farm in Ruston. What are you waiting for? Now's a great time to give them a call. LaBella Salon, 202-5848. Walk-ins welcome.
Many of us are involved in auto accidents, and it's not uncommon that you may not be sore immediately after the accident, but that all changes after a few days when you begin to experience pain and inflammation. You call your regular physician, find out they don't treat auto accidents. What do? Call Dr. Bob Rendina at Chiro Network Chiropractic Clinic in Ruston. They've always treated auto accident injuries. Chiropractic treatments work to get your neck and back aligned and moving again to reduce the pain and inflammation so you can feel good again. When you hurt from an injury, call us at Chiro Network in Ruston. We'll do our best to help you feel good again.
Okay, so clearly the word is out about Country Pleasin' Sausage. Thank you for helping make Country Pleasin' your go-to sausage on game day. From original to jalapeno and cheese, black pepper cheddar, even crawfish and pork, we can't get enough at Sports Talk 97.7, and it seems like you can't either. Check for Country Pleasin' at your local retailer, and for additional flavors, check them out at countrypleasin.com. That's countrypleasin.com.
This is Brandon Kraft, General Manager at Homes Plus.
Get the plus, Homes Plus.
This tax season, we have got with our factories to offer our customers guaranteed build times. So don't just spend your tax return, invest it into the next place you will call home. And everyone be on the lookout for the all-new tiny home coming soon.
Get the plus, Homes Plus.
So come see us on Highway 165 North in Monroe or visit us at homesplus.com.
Saturday morning, sports, and the Nick Brown Show. You can't beat it.
Welcome back to the Nick Brown Show. Appreciate you waking up early today, listening to 2 hours of caffeinated sports talk here on Sports Talk 97.7. It's Smash Hits 94.5 in Jackson, Alabama. You can, little trial run today. You're going to start streaming the Nick Brown Show on the Nick Brown Show YouTube channel. If you are on YouTube, go follow and subscribe, and you can catch us every Saturday morning on the Nick Brown Show. Now, interesting, I want to talk a little bit about ULM baseball because they had a coaching change this year, and the Warhawks played a close one at South Alabama. They're 13-10 on the year. Played down at South last night, lost that one 5-4. But you look at it, really turn around in that program. Mentioned to watch that series. This would be, great if Ben, Believe Tech Blue, Ben Carlisle, if Louisiana Tech, if it is finalized, gets into the Sun Belt. Going to be a great series between those. Of course, Ford Pemberton in his first year for the Warhawks. We're going to get to these texts. It was 1985 that most intelligent audience in all of sports radio. Leading Villanova that year would be Dwayne McClain, Gary McClain, and Ed Pinckney. And then Chuckopedia chiming in that Percy Miller, a.k.a. Master P, is president of the basketball operations, which is the general manager at the University of New Orleans. He is interested in the Arizona State University men's basketball head coaching job after Bobby Hurley was terminated. Be interesting to watch that as well. Boy, the most intelligent audience in all of sports radio never disappoints. Going to look at the schedule today in the NCAA tournament as now you're moving on. Who's going to make it to the Sweet 16 in college basketball? Boy, Florida looked strong, but I think that was more of their opponent. But the games today, Saturday, March 21st, should be a good day, and St. Louis and Michigan. Now, I've got Michigan led by former Louisiana Tech assistant Dusty May, former neighbor of ours on Northwood Drive in Ruston. That one's going to be in Buffalo, New York. I really like Michigan to win the entire tournament. So Michigan and St. Louis, that's 11-10 tip on CBS. Louisville at Michigan State. Louisville the 6th seed, Michigan State the 3 seed. I got Michigan State winning that one. But Michigan State is favored by 4.5. TCU and Duke. Oh, man, I had Ohio State winning this one. How far can this Duke team go? Many of you on the Nick Brown Show Challenge have Duke winning the national title. 33-2 overall, Duke favored by 11.5. Buckyball, boy, should be a great one from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Going to be a 5-10 tip on TNT. State of Texas, Texas A&M Buckyball versus Kelvin Sampson. And I talked about this the other day. There are coaches I want to win the national title, even if it busts a bracket. Kelvin Sampson is one of those guys. You go back, Phi Slamma Jamma, the late Guy Lewis, Benny Anders, that Houston team, Derek Wittenberg. Of course, it gave you the NC State miracle. Like Houston, that program. I'm pulling for Kelvin Sampson. Like, I have Houston and Michigan played in the title. And I have Michigan winning. But if Houston won it, I would not be upset. Like, there are coaches that I really pull for to win a national title. Look at Dave Van Horn at the University of Arkansas baseball. I don't know what it is, but pull for those guys. Texas and Gonzaga going to be a 6-10 tip on True TV TBS. Hook 'em Horns. I think Miller has the Longhorns playing well. I think the 11 seed defeats the 3 seed tonight. Gonzaga's favored by 6.5. Have Texas. That one's now. It is out in Portland, Oregon, but I have Texas winning that one. VCU and Illinois, the Fighting Illini, are favored by 10.5. I have them winning that one. Congratulations to Nebraska. Won their first NCAA tournament game. Hosting the 5 seed Vanderbilt. 5 seed versus the 4 seed. I got Vandy winning that one. Vanderbilt. A lot of people in the bracket picked Vanderbilt to knock out Florida. Several of you have Vandy going to the Final Four. But Vanderbilt and Nebraska. Nebraska just doesn't seem like your 4 seed. They just don't seem like a 4 seed. Vanderbilt, are they better than a 5 seed? You saw what they did to Florida in the SEC tournament. I got Vandy beating Nebraska. High Point and Arkansas. Now, Coach Cal, new career. Gone from Lexington, now in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And you look at football at the University of Arkansas. Sam Pittman. You look at baseball at the University of Arkansas. Is this the one where, Arkansas fans are great? Like, if you go throughout the SEC, like, no one ever has a problem with an Arkansas fan. Like, if you're an Auburn fan, you can say, oh, those Bama fans. If you're a Bama fan, you're going to say, oh, those Auburn fans. And then now with Kirby at Georgia, everyone is saying something about Georgia fans. You always talk about, no, I don't hate Louisiana. You're going to talk about LSU fans. And I will tell you, LSU fans, what's great about them, they love them some LSU. Regardless of how anything's going, LSU is the best. Like, who has a problem with an Arkansas Razorback fan? Like, none of you. Like, if you had to say who was the kindest fan base in the SEC, like, I think Arkansas wins hands down. And so, pulling for Arkansas over High Point today, 4-seed Arkansas. They're favored by 11.5. Look for them to win that one. Now, looking at games on Sunday. Now, I know you're thinking about it now. You're like, right, Brownie's actually right. There is none of you. You think about the Arkansas fans that you know. Do you ever had a problem with an Arkansas fan? Like never. Like, I have cousins that went to the University of Arkansas. They're the nicest cousins ever. Like there's no problem with any of them. Like Ole Miss and State. I mean, you talk about the Iron Bowl being a heated rivalry. Boy, the Egg Bowl is just ugly. And you go through. So think about it. If you have a problem with an Arkansas fan, that would be a great show question. Who is the kindest fan base in the SEC? Nobody has a problem with Arkansas. On Sunday, Miami at Purdue. The Boilermakers are favored by 7.5. They'll win that one. Although, didn't you think Missouri, really, playing in St. Louis, you missed a golden opportunity? Auburn fans are saying, Auburn would have played better. Now, Auburn fans, I've read the message board. I'm a message board troll. We would have been better than, okay, you can't do that. You can't say you've been better than the MEAC participant. You've been better than the MAC participant. You didn't do enough to get into the NCAA tournament. Kentucky and Iowa State. I'm going to ask Tabor on that one because I don't know about that one. Kentucky's a 7 seed. I had them losing in the opening round. Kentucky and Iowa State. And
has there been any word out on the Jefferson boy from Iowa State?
There has not.
I think that's probably the key to the game. If he's able to go, I like Iowa State. If not, I mean, Kentucky's got talent. Can they get it? Can they get it all together? But that's why we watch. That's the beauty of the tournament.
All right, Sunday afternoon, 4:15, St. John's in Kansas. I got Rick Pitino. They're favored by 3.5. I think the Red Storm take down the Jayhawks.
I think I've got the Johnnies in my bracket. But if Peterson can put the Jayhawks on his back, it wouldn't shock me. You're talking what a 2 or what a 4? Is this
4
to
5
matchup?
Game? Yeah.
It's coin flip.
Tennessee and Virginia. Preacher Man is not here. Cavaliers. Tennessee's favored by 1.5.
I lean Tennessee.
I hope they do win. And then Iowa, Florida. Florida's favored by 10.5. I think it's not even going to be that close.
I think Florida's going to wipe the floor with them.
Arizona over Utah State.
Same thing. Utah State looked really good yesterday, but there's levels to the game.
All right, here's where I win or lose the bracket challenge. I'm a huge Mick Cronin fan. Maybe it's because he's follically challenged like me. I got UCLA over UConn. 7 seed over a 2 seed.
I don't see it happening. Did you see? Oh gosh, his name slips me for UConn.
Oh,
30 and 27.
Yes.
Last night.
Yes, absolutely.
What's UCLA going to do with that?
Matchup zone.
Open a prayer.
and then final game on Sunday night from Tampa, Florida. 5 seed Texas Tech. Get your guns up versus Alabama. Alabama 24-9. Texas Tech 23-10.
Got my guns up.
Texas Tech's favored by 1.5. I think they win by 7.
I know that I'd feel much better about it if Toppin wouldn't hurt, but Texas Tech, they just defend at a premium clip.
You don't miss Aiden Holloway versus Hofstra. You miss Aiden Holloway versus Texas Tech.
Correct.
Appreciate all of you listening to the show today. Thanks to our sponsor. Appreciate the Origin Bank hotline and text line. Andy chiming in. Lovable losers. Woo pig suey. Nice. Appreciate you joining in the Origin Bank hotline and text line. Watching today on the YouTube channel. Appreciate those that did that. You can watch each and every week. That's the Nick Brown Show. Go follow, subscribe, Nick Brown Show. Appreciate Divine Wine and Keg Package sponsoring our Bourbon of the Month. For John Tabor, the Preacher Man, and the Cheer Man, I am Nick Brown. Until next week, as always,